specifically here. Hopefully you can see my screen here. I want to run some numbers for you. Okay. How many conversations are enough? And I'm going to give you some ideas on how to improve that, as well as what you should be doing with your existing database. So according to traditional statistics in a database, it's believed and statistically proven that 10% of your database converts every year into a transaction. In other words, if you have 200 people in your database, that should equate to about 20 deals.
I think the coolest part, click on the little sandwich button, scroll down, you can see your members, all the events, but the mini master classes, that's what's going to set this apart, along with the master classes that are coming. But now you can click on the mini master class that you like. It's broken down into sections. You've got the process here. You can scroll down, watch the video if you want. They're not very long. They're about 5 minutes each. And you can go and click on the PDF, and there you have all the notes for that specific mini master class. To me,
Welcome back to another episode of Grow Your Warm Market Business. I am your host, Justin Stoddart, teamed up here with the amazing LabCoatAgents team to deliver you very tactical insight on how you can grow your warm market business. Now, to be really clear, there's typically what's considered warm market, right? Some people call it the people that you've met, right? It's oftentimes considered your sphere. Excuse me. And today I'm going to give you some very technical insight on how you can be adding value. But before I do that, I want to share with you guys something. Many of you know and have respect for Gary Keller. Well, he is speaking at Inman Connect this week. And he was kind of the keynote, kind of the one that everybody was interested to hear. Now, why is that? Is it because he's the head of the the massive brand Keller Williams? No, I think it's more than that. I think that definitely has given him a lot of credibility. But I think the thing that's really interesting about Gary is for the past, it's probably 40 years now. He's been deep in the weeds when it comes to real estate data. In fact, at I believe it's Rice or Baylor University, one of the universities, they've created an entire group that is tracking real estate data. And anyway, I think there's a lot of, when you can find somebody that's been in the industry for that long and has built what they've built, regardless of what company you're at, you have respect when Gary Keller speaks about the market. That's kind of what he's known for. And there's some things here that I'm going to share with you guys just to put in perspective how important is your warm market. So I don't ever like really focusing on the negative. I really love being a realist and saying, okay, here's the reality of the situation that we're in. Now let's move beyond that quickly. Let's find what are the opportunities. In fact, I'm going to give you a little tip here for that I shared last week with my private real estate agent coaching clients. I told them that more than ever, your mindset is critical, like critical. But how do you know if your mindset's strong enough? And I gave them a little tip. I said, when you have nothing specifically that you're thinking about and your mind is just left to wander, do you go to worst case scenario of, oh my goodness, the sky's falling. Oh my goodness, what if I let my clients down? What if I run out of money? What if I run out of listings? What if I can't keep my team? If that's where your mind goes, then that should be a really strong indicator for you that you need more personal growth. If when left to your own devices and you don't have something very specific that you're thinking about, if you find yourself in those situations and others where you're like opportunity, 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 prices coming down, opportunity, prices, increased or maybe even decreased demand from buyers due to interest rates going up, I see opportunity. Right? So whatever the market is presenting, if you can just check yourself and ask yourself, of where is my mind going? Is it going towards worst case scenario or is it going towards best case scenario? That's a great barometer for you to know, is my mindset where it should be? And I think there's always room for mindset development, but that's just a great, really quick check. If you find yourself drawn to the negative, then you've got some work to do. If you find yourself drawn to the positive, keep going in that direction. Okay. So with that in mind, I want you to, as I share this insight from Gary Keller, I want you to keep it in perspective, and I want you to see opportunity. Okay. And we're going to talk specifically about the opportunities within your warm market that Gary points out. Okay. So Gary Keller said, from a sheer transaction drop, referring to this year, 2022, this is at least the second worst in terms of the speed at which it dropped. Okay. Comparing it only to 2008. Okay. In other words, the unique thing about this market isn't necessarily that we're so off from having a good year. It's just that it was riding so high and dropped so quickly, right? Almost like if you've ever been on an airplane and there's turbulence, like you can all kind of like be okay when it's like bumping along. It's like, oh, okay, you got time to put your seatbelt on. But if you've ever been in an airplane that all of a sudden dropped and literally people's heads are hitting the ceiling, that's a little more jarring experience. And typically most people are okay when that happens, but it's a bit jarring. And so I would encourage you to know that everything's going to be okay, but it's a little bit jarring, right? When we went from 2021 to 2022, just this past week, I was at an amazing real estate conference in Las Vegas. And one of the speakers said something that really resonated with me. Keep in mind, all of this is backdrop to what I'm going to have you do with your database to generate more warm market business. Okay. But I'm just building under this backdrop. But here's what he said. If you were to take out the year 2021 and just compare it to previous years, like this is just back to normal. We are just back to a normal year. Okay. So please don't overthink the fact of what we're going through, is that we got so crazy red hot over the past year in particular that there had to be an adjustment, right? There just had to be. So let's see, let me go ahead and share in fact, I'll just read it to you. In fact, let me do something even better. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here, and it's going to give you the ability to see the words yourself. Okay. So this is what Gary said. He said, Inman, right? Brad Inman asking Keller what he'd advise newer agents to do right now. He said they should live at the top of the funnel. He went on to explain that lead generation and excellent service are the key skills agents generally should focus on, but that in order to have clients to service, you have to have clients in the first place. Ergo, new agents should spend days building your database. Real estate is a contact sport, Keller concluded. Immediately make sure you're spending half of your day talking to people. Okay. Now, I think that's an important thing for us to remember here, is that if we're not spending at least half of our day having conversations with people, then we're going to maybe be disappointed with where we're at. Okay. Now let me do this. I want to share with you specifically here. Hopefully you can see my screen here. I want to run some numbers for you. Okay. How many conversations are enough? And I'm going to give you some ideas on how to improve that, as well as what you should be doing with your existing database. So according to traditional statistics in a database, it's believed and statistically proven that 10% of your database converts every year into a transaction. In other words, if you have 200 people in your database, that should equate to about 20 deals. Okay. Now, this is if your database is well nurtured. And what I want to talk about today is one key element for growing the level of involvement you have in their lives. Okay. In order for you to show up and really be present when they have a question about real estate, which right now everybody has questions about real estate, you need to be present where they are present. So in other words, if they're at the coffee shop, you should be at the coffee shop. If they're out on a walk, you should be out on a walk, right? Now, what do I mean by that? You're actually going to go on walks with each one of your clients? Not necessarily. But what are people doing when they're out walking? What are they doing when they're at coffee shops? What are they doing? Well, they're definitely checking their email, right? That's one place to be present with people. that you and I both know that any professional, anybody that's really caught up in today's era, right, has an email and they're checking their email on a pretty consistent basis. So what are you doing to be sure that you are present and valuable and relevant in their inbox? Okay, so today we're going to talk a lot about the tactical things that you can be doing inside of the inbox. Okay, now me and my team at Think Bigger Real Estate, we actually have a unique offering in which we don't just tell you what to do, but my team steps in and does it with you. Right? One thing that I believe strongly is that real estate agents don't just need more ideas, they actually need to implement the ideas, the best ideas. So there's a lot of ideas out there, but let's be honest, you don't make any money off those ideas if you don't actually implement them. And with so much going on, so many hats, so many balls in the air, it gets really difficult to implement the best ideas. That's where we come in, is we actually help you to implement, actually do these things with you, which is kind of cool. So we have a lot of hands-on experience of not just sending out our own emails, but of actually being a part of helping our clients send out their emails as well. Now, a couple of things that I want you to know about winning in the inbox, being present in the inbox, is number one, right? The first thing is you actually have to be there. Okay. Present consistently. That's the first item of business. Now let's make some assumptions here, is that the average person gets over 100 emails a day. Okay. Now, depending upon who they are, what they do for a living, I would say that's a pretty safe number. Okay. Now, some of you might be blown away by that number. Others of you, those of us that are in the real estate industry, are like, oh, that's nothing. Right. So if you're getting 100 emails a day, and let's say that you're sending one email a month. Okay. So in other words, we have 100 emails hitting their inbox, call it times 30 days a month, right? That's 3,000 emails. Now, if you're sending one email per month, okay, you're one of 3,000. What are the chances of you owning real estate in someone's brain? What do I mean by that? Okay. When we're in real estate, we know that location is everything, right? Having the best intersection, having the best cul-de-sac, having the best lot, having the best, right? It matters. Location, communities matter. Where you reside matters. Very similarly, the real estate that you own in someone's brain matters. If you're way back here because you're one of 3,000, you're probably going to be forgotten. Whereas if you own more and better real estate towards the front of their brain, then that chance goes up. So how many emails is enough? I'm not going to prescribe that for you, but what I am going to say is that one is not enough. At minimum, I believe in 2 emails per month. Now, 2 divided by 3,000, right, is equal to you're one of 1,500. Still not very good, right? I have experts who believe, who I work closely with, agencies even, that will say agents need to be sending out at least an email a week. Okay, so that would be 4 out of 3,000. Okay, we're getting a little bit better. Okay, that's 1 of 750. Some even will say 12. So 3 emails every week, 4 weeks out of the year. That's 12 out of 3,000. Okay. I don't have the mental math capacity to do that. At least I probably could, but it might be embarrassing as it took me a long time. So let me do the math on that. Right. So 3,000 divided by 12, a little bit better, right? Now we're 1 of 250. Okay. Now, what in the world would you possibly send to people that they would want to receive from you 3 times a month? Here's what I know people do not want to receive from you. People don't want to be dripped on. I live in Oregon where it rains a lot. And believe it or not, it's been a very dry summer. We're actually pretty excited for it to start raining on Friday. But even with that, as crazy as that sounds, for those of you that live in California and don't get much rain, I still don't want to be dripped on. Okay. So we talk about these drip campaigns. I don't know. And I get it, right? I'm being a bit facetious here, but oftentimes what a drip campaign means is that it's not actually from you. It's from a service that you employed. Now, some are better than others. I'm actually a fan of the service HomeBot. Okay, if you don't know what that is, You should look into it. That's one drip, one I like to call nurture, that's better than any others because it's very similar to the Zestimate. It's very similar to the Redfin's monthly, here's what your home's worth. Those tech behemoths send those out for a very specific reason, because people open them. Okay. So if you're going to send out one email a month that's automated, I think that's a good one. Okay. Now, in addition to that, I believe it also needs to be more than just information about their property. I think it needs to be information from you. I think people are interested in hearing from you. Think about it. Think about it this way. Is it you are striving to become the thought leader, to be the person that they look to when they have real estate needs. You don't want them looking at Redfin. You want them looking at you, right? You don't want them looking at Zillow. You want them looking at you. You want to capture and maintain your database. So how do you do that? Well, it has to be you. You can't outsource that. Very similar to how I'm not going to outsource my marriage. I'm not going to outsource parenting my children. Those things are too important. When it comes to relationships, you can't outsource them if you expect them to be very good relationships. Okay. So a couple of key points. Okay. Outside of maybe this outlier, which I like, outside of that, I believe in at least these two. So let's say that you're going to say, Justin, I think I could do 2 emails a month. What does that look like? Okay. Number one, the first email of the month is going to be a market update. Okay. Okay. The second one is going to be a community update. These are done monthly. Okay. Now, I think what would work really well would be to have HomeBot coupled with those two. You'd be 3 emails a month, right? You're still one of 1,000, but you're pretty good, right? You're still showing up and you've got a plan at least. So if you're going from 0 right now, at least get signed up on HomeBot. If you are going from 0 and you're ready to ramp it up a little bit more, I would go to this plan right here. Okay. I would strongly encourage you to leverage this plan right here. Okay. Which is those 2 emails. One's sent on the first, one's sent on the 15th. Okay. And it's in your voice. Now, I would not encourage you to spend a bunch of time doing heavy HTML, doing all this fancy logos, all this stuff. Like maybe a very simple headline up at the top, but have it be text, have it actually sound and look like it came from you, almost like a conversational piece. Where people start to really unsubscribe from you is where either you're A, irrelevant, or B, you're not present. In other words, you're not present in that conversation. They can't hear your voice. They can't hear your tone. They don't catch your sense of humor. If you draft the emails, it's you. It's your voice. It should sound like you. People have a harder time unsubscribing. They have a harder time dismissing when it's someone that they know, a voice that they know. And what happens is the longer that you are in their inbox and the more that they consume, the more that they start to look to you as their leader and their advisor. Okay. Now let's say that you wanted to up this a bit more. Okay. So you got 2 plus HomeBot. That's actually 3 a month. Okay. Now, what if you were to say, I want to do a bit more? My mentor, who some of you probably know, his name is Sharon Srivatsa, taught me this. It's a beautiful plan. If you're not a part of his 5 a.m. club, message me. I'm happy to put a link in the notes. Sharon's the man. And he taught me this. I give him complete credit for this, but it's what's called the deal of the week. And the deal of the week is simply this. It's a simple email where you look through your MLS. Okay. And you find one deal that you think is, boy, that's a hot deal. That's really interesting. And you talk about the deal, right? You don't give the address. You don't have links out to it. You simply say, here's the deal of the week. Right? Not the address, but you describe it. Why do you like it? And then you give an invitation. If you'd like to know more, just message me back. Okay. So it's a very simple email, but it's a, let's say 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in this neighborhood. And it's right. It's in this area. The home has this kind of style. If people really wanted to search it out, they could, but what it what it does is it makes them come to you for the most part, right? It makes them really look to you as the authority and causes them to really leverage the fact that you are watching the market on their behalf, right? That you know the good deals that are coming. And that might not be the deal that resonates with them, but just by sending that email, you're communicating to your audience that I'm watching the market and I know what the good deals are, right? Isn't that great? If you were looking for somebody to represent you as a buyer or even a seller, right? Like looking for an agent to represent you, wouldn't it be nice to know that somebody is not just putting a sign in the yard and just your friend, and that's why they're giving them the deal, but they're actually evaluating the market. They're putting some critical thinking around what is a good deal and why, right? It says all kinds of things about you. And guess what? In the process of all of that, you actually are becoming that. You actually are becoming that person. Okay. So these are things that are not difficult to do. They're actually quite simple, but that means that because they're simple, they're also simple to not do. Right. So this is and you could do a deal of the week, right? That's 4 plus 5, 6 plus home lot. That's 7, right? That's pretty intense, but it won't take you long. And it's really a way for it to say, like, I'm just going to increase the odds that the people that I'm present in their inbox, and I know they're present in their inbox, so I'm going to show up there and I'm going to be valuable. Okay. Now, let me share with you an advanced methodology. These statistics right here may not be the same this year. And here's why. All of the market-related data is causing sellers to say, you know what? I can't get what I thought I was going to get. I'm not going to sell this year, right? Buyers are saying, you know what? I was once shopping for a $750,000 home, and now I'm shopping for a $450,000 home. Like this is not fun anymore, and sellers aren't willing to come down yet. So I'm not going to do this. So you're going to have some people that are reluctant, that if they're not a motivated buyer or seller, they may be opting out. Okay. Now, I'm not encouraging that people do that, but if they don't have a real reason to, they may be holding off. Okay. So in other words, what we're really looking for isn't just a database of people. We are looking for motivated buyers and sellers. When people have a motivation, when they need to move, everything changes. Okay. Everything changes. No longer can they be sticky about stuff, right? No longer can they be like, you know what? I don't know if this is actually gonna work. And I'm just realizing here, you guys have not been able to see my slides. Okay. So let me go back to this. All this time I'm drawing all these beautiful things for you guys. You're not seeing my slides. So I just pulled this up. Okay. So let's go back to this. Here's the reality. 10% of your database times 200 people is 20 deals. Okay. We've been focusing on your inbox. Okay. I'm just doing a quick review because I'm just realizing you weren't seeing my slides. My bad. All right. So the key is to be present consistently. Okay. And here is one option for you, right? Is to have a monthly email that goes out, care of the HomeBot service. Might even be 2 that go out from HomeBot. Then you have a market update and a community update. Okay. That right there would be at least 3 emails a month. That's a good start. Now, if you wanted to layer in some of the deal of the week that I shared, then that's pretty cool too. Okay. But here's what I want you to see now is motivated buyers and sellers. Okay. This is actually what we're looking for, because this is in a typical year, right? What I'm sharing right here, that's like in a typical year. We're not in a typical year right now. We're in a unique pivot shift year. Okay. So how do we find motivated buyers and sellers? I want to share with you a model I actually authored a book on called the Upstream Model. And this concept is that at every person's financial table, they ought to have 7 key players. Okay. They ought to have a real estate professional. In fact, let me just draw these 7 spots here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Every seat at this table has the ability to send you motivated buyers and sellers. Okay, so you are the first seat at the table. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, now, how can you send business to yourself? Well, you might not, but you could have a commercial real estate agent who's a great strategic partner. You could have an agent in another market that's importing a lot of people to your area that could be a great strategic partner. Okay, so this is really a strategic partner table, but it also, for your client, turns into a very important kind of their team, their financial team. Okay, so if we have real estate, we've got lending, which could be credit unions, banks, traditional mortgage loan officers, right? A number of different lending options that could be at that seat of the table. We've got the legal category, estate, probate, real estate, family law, right? All kinds of. We've got accounting, CPAs, bookkeepers, etc. We've got property managers. Okay. We have financial advisors. And we have insurance, property and casualty, life, etc. Okay. So every seat at this table, they have their own book of business, their own clients who they're consulting with. In the course of their day-to-day activities, their day-to-day actions, they're uncovering the fact that their clients are going to be needing a real estate agent next. And if you spend time adding value to their business and becoming a trusted source to the market, to what's happening in the overall economy, how it relates to real estate, for these people, you give them value to give to their clients, number one. And number two, you make real estate come up in their conversations. Now, if you were the reason that real estate came up in their conversations, then guess what? There's a good chance that you're going to have that piece of real estate that you want to have, which is front and center when they're uncovering the fact that their clients need to sell, need to buy, right? That they are motivated to do so, right? That's what we're looking for, is motivated buyers and sellers. So in recap, right, let's go back and review this, is that in this market, more transactions are being taken off the table. You're experiencing it. I'm seeing it, right? That people are getting skittish. And so we have to be, number one, taking advantage of every opportunity we possibly can. We have to be present where other people are at, which means we need to be in their inbox more frequently than we currently are, and more authentically than we currently are. Okay, it's not a matter of just being there. It's a matter of actually being there as ourselves, as the knowledge broker, the thought leaders that we are relative to real estate in our area. Okay, so as we do that, or how we do that, right, is by sending frequent emails that are authentically you and bring value about what they care about. Okay. And then we begin to, or in addition to this, simultaneously, we're seeking out professional partners, strategic partners who are similarly having these consultative conversations with their clients and positioning ourselves to be the point of real estate, the knowledge broker, again, who has the ability to be of value to their clients. If there's interest in learning more about that, please just DM me, reach out. I've got a number of free resources that I can send you that will give you a better idea of how to approach those professionals, what those opportunities really look like, which I'm more than happy to share. So I really want to, first and foremost, thank you all for being here. Thanks for listening to my presentation when you couldn't see my screen. Hopefully you got caught up now. But just know this, that right now is the best time. As we kicked off this presentation, I talked about how if your mind is going towards doom and gloom, work on yourself, personal development. P.S. Tristan just became, right, the chief marketing officer of Success Magazines, right, Enterprises, which is designed to help improve your mindset, right? There are endless tools, even more so at our fingertips now, to help us to do that and to become that. Okay. Our minds ought to be looking at opportunities. We see other agents get discouraged, right? We don't want that, but goodness sakes, the opportunity that's in front of us, that's happening around us as other people turn back and other people get discouraged is growing by the day. We need to be looking at it through that lens. Okay. That's number one. Number two, is it one key way to do that is to be very present in people's inbox. I want to thank you all for tuning in here today. Grateful for you. And I look forward to being in contact. If I can be of help individually, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer questions and help you apply this. I'll give you some of the free resources that I've created around helping you to build out these strategic partnerships as well. So I appreciate it very much, everybody. Thanks. Talk to you soon.